Hey there, folks. We're going to work on combining like terms with negative coefficients and distribution. So it says expand the expression and combine like terms. So we're going to take this expression and we're actually simplifying it just like we did in the previous video. But now we have distribution involved. So this 2, open parentheses, negative n minus 3, minus 7, open parentheses, 5 plus 2n, really can be written in a much more simple, compact way. If you take a look, this 2 in front of the negative n minus 3 really means I have two groups of negative n minus 3, right? Um, the, all the stuff we've been doing with commas throughout the year so far, this is where it becomes very, very helpful, and you'll see why in about a second. So I'm I'm you. I'm doing this, so I make sure I write it down on my paper or boogie board or whatever. So 2 times negative n minus 3 minus 7 times 5 plus 2n. Well, if you do this, it's going to make it very simple to distribute. I would treat that as 2 times negative n and 2 times negative 3. And I'm going to treat this, even though it's minus 7, treat it as negative 7 times 5 and negative 7 times positive 2n, and do that to distribute. So let's take a look here. 2 times negative n is negative 2n. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Negative 7 times 5 is negative 35. And negative 7 times positive 2n is negative 14n. I just want to make sure I got all my signs right again. So let's see. 2 positive times a negative is a negative. Positive times a negative is a negative. Negative times a positive is a negative. Negative times a positive is a negative. Now I can combine my terms. So put my commas in. Remember, get in the habit of putting the variable first. So this is negative 2n, and negative 14n is negative 16n. Double underline my number terms. Negative 6 and negative 35 makes negative 41. So this is a simplified way of writing this long expression. All right, these two are the same. If you're eventually we're going to be solving equations, would you rather solve an equation that has this, or would you rather look at it like this? I think you're going to say this right here. See where my little star thing is moving. So negative 16n minus 41, that's the expression that matches it. Let's go to the next one. All right, 10 plus 4, let me write it over. 10 plus 4, open parentheses, negative 8q minus 4, close parentheses. Now in this case, the number that's multiplying what's in the parentheses, is it the 10? Is it 14, 10 plus 4? The answer is 4 is the number that's multiplying what's in the parentheses. So you would distribute the 4 to the two terms in here. So bring down my 10, and 4 times negative 8 is negative 32q, and 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. So you have 10 minus 32q minus 16. Put my commas in. My variable, I always like to put that expression first. So that's negative 32q. Positive 10 and negative 16 together make negative 6. So negative 32q minus 6 is my answer. Let's do another one. Here we have 7 that's being distributed. I don't, if you're doing it on paper, I would rewrite it, but this I have room. So let's see what we have. 7 times 8r and 7 times 2. So I'm just going to bring the 5 down. 7 times 8r is positive 56r. And 7 times negative 2 is negative 14. So, comma, comma. 56r would just come down. It's 56 times r. Positive 5 and negative 14 would make negative 19, which means our simplified expression after we combine like terms is 56r, not minus 19, minus, oops, minus 14. All right, is there another one? Yep, there's one more. All right, combining like terms with negative coefficients in distribution. Once again, what's the number that's being distributed? Negative 5 times negative 5k and negative 5 times positive 3. So 8k would come down. Negative times a negative is a positive, and 5 times 5 is 25k. And negative 5 times positive 3 is negative 15. So put my commas in. I have 8k and 25k and negative 15. So 8k and 25k together would make 33k, leaving me with the negative 15. So 33k minus 15. These two expressions, I promise you, are equivalent. If you plug in a number to one, plug in a number to the other, you'll get the same answer. That's why they are equivalent to each other. And here's the special case, which I think is great for you guys to know. Sometimes you're going to see something that looks like this. You're going to see a negative sign or a plus sign, but in this case a minus sign, I should say, right before the expression. And if you see that, I want you to think of it as this. It's kind of like there's an invisible 1 out in front of the parentheses. So what exactly is being distributed? Well, I'm going to bring 5x down. I'm going to bring positive 10 down. And what's actually being distributed, if you think about it, is negative 1 times 2x and negative 1 times 3. All right. So negative 1 times 2x is negative, oops, let me change the color. Is negative 2x. And negative 1 times negative 3 is positive 3. All right. So what we have here in our next line is, let me get rid of that little invisible 1 now. What we have here is 5x plus 10, then you distribute, in this case, a negative 1 times positive 2 is negative 2x, and negative 1 times negative 3 is positive 3. So that is essentially, some people will call it distributing the negative sign. What you're actually distributing is the number negative 1. It's an invisible 1 that's always, out there. If I had written G somewhere, it's really 1G. If I had written, um, uh, well, I don't want to confuse things. Just imagine if there's a parenthesis out there, the number outside of it, if there isn't a number multiplying it, you know that it's 1 that's multiplying it. In this case, it's a minus 1 outside of the parentheses. Don't want to confuse it anymore. You'll get the hang of this. So 5x and positive 10 and negative 2x and positive 3. So 5x would combine with negative 2x to give you 3x. Positive 10 would combine with positive 3 to give you positive 13. And that right there, my friends, is the simplified expression. I hope you enjoyed the video. Get out there and practice.